I want to dive into that just a little bit more because in your positions and where you are today, you don't have time to do things that aren't going to contribute to the bottom line. You're accountable to a board, and I guarantee you one of the first things on the agenda in your board meetings is like, how's this quarter's quota doing? And how's next quarter's, right? So, I mean, you've got to be ruthless about how you prioritize where you spend time and resources and how you build that culture and how important that is. So there's the people, the culture you just talked about. I mean, we all know high performance teams are what are, that's why VCs and PE companies, they invest in people first and the idea second, because no matter what, we need that high performance team. So this focus on the people, I love that. You have an internal and an external focus, and you talk a lot about customer led advantage. And I just wanted to, what is your philosophy on that? What does that mean to you?
I mean, the customer should be in the center of gravity, right, Steve? The customer is the one that pays the bill. The customer is the one that defines your overall strategy. So you need to make sure that you're very clear about putting that customer straight. If you want to grow, I always say that you win through evidence, not not adjectives. Customers, I think there are a couple of things. First, it's really important that you have the right customer, right? I mean, narrow your ICP because you can also have customers who drag you down, where basically you need to do so much from the engineering work that is not repeatable, and that is not a good thing. So, work with the customers who truly feel the pain, right? And so that you can make that repeatable. That's number one. But the second thing, which we should not forget, is operationalize the value. When you do that, making sure there's continuously value so that they're happy. And then if you do that, you can actually turn champions into megaphones, right? That's the soul, when they are really going out by themselves and talking to peers to say this is the best. That's actually the way you need to run it. That's the perfect scenario. Now, it's not always the case, but you need to push it. So when you come to the sales team or even my channel team or the channel organization outside, I think it's very, very crucial that you build use cases based upon those customers, that you force prospects to talk to those customers and that they can actually deliver the message that you want to deliver and show the value what you have been created for them, which is repeatable. And the reality is, and I learned that through my BTC times, you need to make sure that when you're talking to a bank, that you have a story of a bank, and that you have a regional customer, that you have a regional success story, right? It needs to resonate, of course, otherwise it doesn't make any sense. But that's, for me, it's all about the customer. And if you do this right, you will scale accordingly.
So let me ask you this, because I want to get to the go-to-market. I want to get to ICP, but you said so many interesting things in there that I want to ask some questions about. You started out and you said this. You said the customer defines our strategy. And it was an interesting way to put it because we all got to be C-suite executives in our companies, not because we weren't intelligent, right? We know how to make decisions. We can make decisions on our own. We can, in fact, McKinsey had a big study and they're like, only truly 15% of companies are customer led and actually execute on the voice of the customer. The very first sentence you started out that the answer to the question there on what is customer led advantage was that the customer defines our strategy. Tell me more about that.
I mean, at the end of the day, you create a product for someone to buy, right? And so if that particular customer and you narrow your ICP in a way that is really clear, then of course it's the customer that defines how you're going to go to market, how you deliver the solution, how you maintain the value through the cycle so you can make it repeatable. I think a lot of companies are too much focused internally. There's too much internal stuff happening. And sometimes we forget that we need to talk to our customer about, A, are you happy? B, what is the roadmap? What do you need to do so you can improve yourself, every single time, but also change your go-to-market effectively as well. And it also means that sometimes making hard choices, right? Because if the right customer is the right customer, it also means sometimes you don't have the right customer. And then what do you do with those not right customers? And are you going to continue to gain the non-right customers? Because if you do that, it drags you down and not helps you moving forward. So again, when I'm talking about the strategy, it needs to be around the customer. It needs to be very, very clear. It needs to be on the right customers where you as a company can give the most value to.